Hello and welcome to another battle report with Bill Dozer for Outlanders Gaming. This is going to be another universal battle report, and I played against a guy named NobbyNobbs, and he had a Halfling army for the League of Rhordia. Not his entire army was not Halflings. He did have a few that were not, like his House Guard, and then his I think they're called the Honor Guard. They were not halflings, but most of them were halflings. He had quite a few shooty units in here. He had some halfling rangers, some halfling knights, so a very mobile army, and definitely had some shooting to it. One thing I learned about the halflings playing this game is that there are quite a few of them, but they all have defense 3, 4, sometimes 5. And they're kind of squishy. So here's the setup for the game. I believe we just got the kill scenario, which was scenario 1, so we just kind of set up and got ready to go. This army right here is my same army I've been using for a while from left to right. I've got my Undead Trolls, my Necromancer with Banechant, my Zombies Legion, my Wraiths with Blessing of the Gods, which gives them Elite. I've got my Zombie Dragon, and he has Ensorcelled Armor, Defense 6, more Zombie Trolls, a Revenant King on a horse, and then my Revenant Cavalry, which they have Potion of Caterpillar, which gives them Pathfinder, and then as you can see, some Werewolves and a Lycanus. As for him, it looks like he's got some Rangers. They're kind of shooty. They've got some bows that shoot 24 inches. They're only defense 3 though. So he had several troops of those. It looks like he's got 4 of them spread across the board, as you can see. They're quick and they're very shooty. He also had some halfling sergeants on horseback. They're defense 5 and they give inspiring, so they're pretty good. Not very much punch to them though. They're just kind of there as support units for inspiring, I bet. Or at least that's what he used them for. Then he's got halfling knights, two hordes of those. They are Halfling Knights. Yeah, those would be a regiment of 10. So, yeah, they have defense 4+, speed 7, 16 attacks, 13, 15 nerve, thunderous charge 1, and nimble. So they can move around, but they're not going to hit very hard. So the Honor Guard actually don't have wings. He just modeled them that way. So, but the Duke on Flying Steed or Flying Alvarez or whatever it is, that thing over there to the right of his left, my right, as you're looking at it, that is actually flying. Then he's got a couple of volley guns. Those volley guns shoot 15 times, and they're pretty deadly. Then he's got some House Guard. They're crushing strength 1, just regiments of dudes. And then, as you can see, he's got it's like a wizard. He's a wizard on a steed, and he has Wind Blast, so he'll like push my units around a little bit here and there. Okay, so here's the top of turn 1. I went ahead and got first turn. So several of my units in my army, as you know, are very fast. So I can with my Lycanus to try and kind of dare his cavalry. See what these volley guns are going to do to me because yeah, that's going to be rough. Some stuff forward. I surged forward the zombies, as you can else was already kind of in the position I wanted it to be in, so I kind of left everything else. Okay, here's turn 1, bottom of turn 1, and he just kind of got up in my face with a little bit of the Rangers and prepared for shooting. He wasn't going to come at me right away because he knew that I wanted to get to him, and he wanted to use that gun line at least for a turn, if not 2. So there's his movement. He just kind of moved up with his Rangers, his Ranger Cavalry, and then everything else kind of just maneuvered and stayed put. Okay, here is the bottom of turn 1 shooting. He did put 3 points of damage on my Trolls, and then he actually put a point of damage on my Necromancer and wavered my Necromancer, which I was laughing at that a little bit. So he'll be useless next turn. He can't surge anything or Banechant anything, which will kind of slow down my left flank a little bit. He did put that volley gun, his left volley gun, into my, well, his right side, my left, into my Vampire Lord and put 2 damage on him. And then he went ahead and shot the living snot out of my werewolves there and put 4 damage on them, and then managed to roll really well and waver them. So they are wavered, and they're going to be kind of worthless for the next turn. I was kind of hoping that they wouldn't be wavered because I'd like to get into the lines of his volley gun or his. Going to have to kind of hold that down himself, which is quite a big bummer for me. Okay, so here is the top of turn 2. After he got done shooting me, I was like, okay, well, it's time to get into your lines. As you can see on my right flank, my Lycanus and then the Revenant Cavalry were just like, okay, let's take these guys out, take out some Rangers, because they have Pathfinders, so they just came right out of the woods and charged them. My flying units definitely wanted to get into his shooting units quick so that the rest of my army wouldn't have problems getting up there. But I also had the threat of that honor guard. They were pretty good and had some thunderous charge on them, so I wanted to make sure that I got my vampire in there as soon as possible to just kind of take them on. Both of my flying units have defense 6, so I think they should be able to hold out real well. That, and I wanted to get rid of this volley gun really quick because I didn't want it shooting my trolls apart, so I figured triple attacks, that'll be pretty good, get 36 strikes in on that. Everything else just kind of moved up except for my Necromancer, which stayed put. I'm just kind of getting ready to get shot at some more, and hopefully get those werewolves back in the action next turn, and we'll see. But there's my movement. The next slide here is we've got the combat there. Let's see. Oh, actually, we had some shooting there. I did surge. Here's the shooting phase, actually. I surged forward those trolls with my Revenant King. Just to get them up there further. Nothing big there. Then combat. As you can see here, I put 6 damage on the honor guard there with my dragon. A pretty good round of combat there. However, I don't think it doesn't look like I wavered them, so they are good to go to countercharge me next turn. My Wraiths, on the other hand, took care of that volley gun, and then they just kind of repositioned a little bit. I don't think I turned him that much, just because I wasn't worried about getting charged by that wizard, because he has 1 attack. But it would definitely be bad if that house guard or the Duke with the flying horse got into my side there, so I wanted to make sure that would be a frontal charge if he decided to go there. So there's the end of that. Also, you can see the Revenant Cavalry and the Lycanus took care of those Rangers. So overall, sitting pretty good. I think that the next turn, my zombies are probably going to get all sorts of charged by Cavalry because they're all in range. But that's what my Zombie Legion is for. It's for taking on a whole bunch of attacks. And I just don't feel like their cavalry hit hard enough that it's going to be something I need to worry about with Fearless 28. If he does end up doing that much damage, even with a triple charge, I'm going to be surprised. I just don't think there's much in this game that can usually take out a Zombie Legion in 1 turn, especially if you're not getting a flank charge on it. If you get a flank charge or a rear charge on them with multiples, then yeah, okay. But even like a frontal charge, I'm usually pretty eager to let you get into them, because then that frees me up to take on your flanks after you're stuck in with me. Okay, here is the bottom of turn 2, and as I predicted, he went ahead and triple charged me with those Halfling Knights, and then the Halfling Sergeant there. His other Rangers kind of repositioned to get a whole bunch of shots in on my trolls there, and then he kind of left me a flank charge there on one of his Ranger units. I don't know what he was doing there. Maybe he just couldn't turn. I don't know. It looked like that might have been the situation. He did countercharge my dragon, which I expected. His house guard there charged my wraiths, which is fine because they're defense 6, and I don't think he'll be able to take care of them. If you look here, the Duke went ahead and went right into my Revenant King, which I was kind of bummed about that. I was hoping he'd kind of take the bait and go after the trolls, but he went ahead and just charged my Revenant King, which was kind of a bummer. He got his wizard into position to do some shooting with that wind blast, and then he went ahead and charged my Lycanus with his other unit of House Guard, which that's fine. Go ahead and charge him. I'm cool with that. My Lycanus, he's a pretty tough dude, defense 5, and if you kill him, it looks like as long as he doesn't shoot my werewolves, they'll be back in action and can countercharge next turn. So here we go with his shooting at the bottom of turn 2. The shooting, he put several damage onto my trolls there, but didn't manage to rout them. Now, like I keep saying, my trolls are awesome. They're fearless 18. So even though you can put plenty of damage on them, they're going to stick around. He actually, it looks like, oh, okay, here we go. This was also his shooting. He went ahead and wind blasted my trolls sideways a little bit, which I think he was just trying to get them out of range to be able to, you know, I don't know what he was going for there. Maybe just trying to push them to the side a little bit and do something. I don't know. But maybe he was trying to get them out of range to hurt his volley gun or something. But I mean, I had planned on hopefully charging in with my dragon to kind of finish off that honor guard, but we'll see. And then he shot his volley gun at, it looks like my Revenant Cavalry, maybe it was, and did like 1 damage. I can't remember what it was, but at any rate, he only did 1 damage to them, and they're fine. Now we'll go ahead and see what happened in combat. In combat, he put 13 wounds with that triple charge on my zombie legion, which was a pretty decent amount, but it's still not enough to do much to my zombies because they're fearless 28. So I'm okay with that. He's got a majority of his knights just locked right in there with my zombie legion, and I'm gonna be able to take out the rest of his army and kind of move in on those. He did 12 damage with his honor guard against my zombie dragon, and luckily was not able to waver them. I was actually very surprised. I was like, well, yeah, Bill, you're messing around with a large horde here with your zombie dragon. Of course they're going to hurt you. So, and then his house guard there did 3 damage. Managed to put 3 damage onto my wraiths. They didn't care. He did 6 damage to my Revenant King and did not manage to waver or rout him. He rolled bad on his rout test, so I was pleased with that. He put 5 damage on my Lycanus and was unable to kill him as well. So overall, I will take this round of combat. Worked out very good. Nobody was routed or wavered, so next turn I'm excited to get my Necromancer and my Werewolves back. So here we go, top of turn 3. And I just went ahead and countercharged and pretty much charged in with everything. My trolls took on that left unit of Halfling Knights. I want to get in there, get some life leech back, get a point of damage back, kill some Halflings, hopefully. My zombie legion went in and charged. I believe they probably charged first so that they left only room for that edge charge for the trolls. But they charged this other unit of Halfling Knights to get them. My Necromancer came up to back them up and hopefully get a Bane Chant off on the zombies so that they can do more damage. My trolls there that were wind blasted to the side were like, okay, that's cool. I'm going to go in with the counter charge from my Vampire Dragon, and that way I've got Crushing Strength 2, 18 attacks coming in on that Honor Guard. So that'll hopefully be a good thing. My Wraiths countercharged his House Guard there. And then my Revenant King just said, okay, I'll countercharge the Duke and keep him busy. The Revenant Knights, Revenant Cavalry here, they went in on that second volley gun to try and get rid of it. The werewolves that are now no longer wavered went in and charged the other unit of House Guard there, along with the Lycanus. And everything I look at here is perfect situation for me. I'm getting in with my attacks on just about everything, and I feel like I'm going to pretty much take care of business here. I was worried there when my werewolves got routed turn 1, but with the low defense and the high crushing strength of most of my units and high defense, I should be able to get some points back in life leech and take care of business here. So here's my shooting phase. I just successfully got off Bane Chant, which was great. And that was pretty much the extent of my shooting because everything else that could shoot was in combat. Here is my combat phase. My trolls were able to take care of the left unit of Revenant, or of Halfling Knights rather, and they got their point back. Then they kind of just turned to face the Rangers to go after them next. My zombies, they put, it looks like 9 points of damage on the other unit of Halfling Knights and just wavered them. They weren't able to rout them. But that worked out. My zombie trolls and my dragon were able to kill the honor guard horde, and then they kind of just turned to face to head towards that left flank because the right flank is mostly being taken care of. The vampire dragon kind of turned around to threaten the duke that was in combat with my revenant king, just because I didn't want him to get silly and run around the rest of my field without something threatening him, you know. So he's looking at that duke, hopefully going to take care of him when the time comes. My wraiths, they wavered his house guard there, took care of business there. It was pretty good. 6 damage and then a waver. Sounds good. The Revenant King, he just put 3 points of damage on the Duke and got a point back for Life Leech. My Revenant Cavalry took care of that last war machine, the volley gun, and between my werewolves and my Lycanus, we did plenty of damage to that other unit of House Guard and took care of them. At this point in the game, I'm looking at it, and it doesn't look good for my friend here. I know that he is actually he actually wants to turn this into a Mongolian army. He has a bunch of Mongolian figures for his miniatures, which I think is a really cool theme for an army. And he really likes the fact that these Rangers, which they do have some decent shooting, they hit on 4s for all their bow shots, so they're really good shooting. But I just feel like playing against an army like Undead that's very quick, I can get across the field against this, and I didn't feel like at any point that I was in any danger of, other than my werewolves getting wavered right off the bat, and that seemed like it was more of a lucky roll too, with when I had 4 damage on them, and then, you know, it just seemed like I could take care of business here, and I don't know if there's just a few units that he needed to change, but at this point I'm feeling pretty confident with my army, and with most of his units either wavered or destroyed. It's kind of mop-up phase is what I feel like at this point. The bottom of turn 3, he went ahead and countercharged with his halfling sergeant and his halfling knights kind of just sat there because they were wavered. He did countercharge me, I believe, with his Duke into the Revenant King, and then everything else just kind of got in position to shoot at me, what he had left. Then you look at the bottom of turn 3, and he did manage to put a little bit more. Oh, here's just the shooting. He put it looks like 11 points of damage on my trolls at this point, but was still rolled low and was not able to waver them or rout them. Felt kind of bad about that, but what are you going to do? He did wind blast my Revenant Cavalry backwards a little bit, and everything else was either wavered or dead, so not much for shooting there. His Duke killed my Revenant King in his bottom of turn 3 combat phase, so my Revenant King finally died. He turned him around to face my Vampire Lord, so that's going to be a fight, it looks like. As well as he's probably going to get flank charged as well from my either my werewolves or my revenant cavalry. I mean, it's kind of up in the air. Either one of those will do. He was able to put a couple more points of damage, it looks like, on my zombies, but not enough to rout them. And just kind of either all of his units are wavered or not much to do there other than kill my Revenant King. So I'm feeling pretty good about this. Like I said, my first time against the League, and I'm feeling like the Undead definitely have an answer for them. Here's my Undead movement, top of turn 4, and I went ahead and just charged my werewolves in. One thing that I just noticed here in this picture is I actually put the damage from the werewolves onto the Revenant Cavalry. Later I correct this, and I asked NobbyNobbs, I was like, did I just put the damage from the werewolves onto the Revenant Cavalry by accident? And he's like, yeah, because if you remember correctly, they were shot to 4 wounds or 4 damage, then they were wavered, and then I actually got one back with Life Leech when I charged a unit earlier. But we correct that later. I just wanted to make note of it. So his Duke is getting charged by both my Vampire Lord and my werewolves, so that should end up good for me, bad for him. My Wraiths just went ahead and charged his House Guard again to finish them off. My Trolls, they just charged in on the flank of those Halfling Knights to take care of business there. And then my Zombies decided to charge his Halfling Sergeant, because that's going to be plenty of attacks. My Trolls, they charged his Halfling Cavalry, or his Halfling Rangers here, and even though they're going to be getting a hindered charge there because they're charging into the woods, I still felt like I could put a point of damage or 2 on there, maybe get something back in Life Leech, and possibly even get lucky and rout that unit. I doubt it, but at least keeps them busy, and then in the next turn they're probably going to shoot and kill those Trolls just because they're already very damaged and they should already be dead as it is. My Revenant Cavalry up there, they just kind of got in position to threaten his Wizard. His Wizard doesn't bother me at all. He can Wind Blast me all he wants at this point. It's only Wind Blast 7, so I feel like it's not very effective. You only get Wind Blast 7. I mean, I guess that could really make a difference if you're sitting way outside of charge ranges. But a lot of my stuff is so fast that I didn't really mind. And he's got it on the side of the field where all my fast stuff lives. If he had deployed it on the other side of the field where my zombies and trolls were, I feel like it would have been more effective because of how slow they are. But yeah, that's fine. He can hang out there and Wind Blast me all day. That's fine. Okay, the end of the turn here. Yeah, just really took care of that House Guard up top with the Wraiths. They turned to kind of threaten his other flank. Everything pretty much took care of business there. The Vampire Dragon and the Werewolves took care of the Duke. He died, and then everything on my right flank is now kind of ready to go after the other side of the board. My left flank, his right, because all he's got left is Ranger Cavalry and Halfling Sergeants at this point, and his little wizard over there that's kind of lonely over there. My Trolls pretty much took care of business there on his Halfling Knights, mopped them up, and then the Halfling Sergeant on the horseback, he took some damage, but my zombies weren't able to really do much other than that. My zombies on the left flank, they took and wavered and did 6 damage to his Ranger Cavalry there. So that's pretty good. Got a little Life Leech there, back down to 10 damage. But I'm fully expecting them to get shot and killed next turn. But yeah, like I said, this guy was a really, really nice guy, a really good player. I feel like he didn't necessarily play his list bad. I just feel like that my list was the perfect answer for his list. Lots of quick, smashy stuff that I feel like the League of Rhordia, as it is, they have to strike, make sure they get their attacks in, and then they're kind of a glass hammer, it feels like, because once they get their attacks in, they're not going to be able to take much damage just because of their low defense and low low nerve, because a lot of these guys like have 13, 15 nerve, and that's kind of bad. But yeah, here is the bottom of turn 4 with the League's movement. He actually charged my werewolves in the flank with his wizard, which was pretty awesome. I was like, yeah, man, go for it. I was like, mad respect for doing that. His rangers just kind of flank charged me there, along with his other halfling champion, and he forgot to take his 5 damage with him, but that's all right, whatever. So as you can see, they're getting sandwiched by a couple of halfling cavalry, and they're probably going to die, which was fully expected. But at least you know, he's kind of on the run. I've got everything there, about to move across the table and take care of business. Okay, bottom of turn 4, shooting. And yeah, he actually shot my necromancer and killed him, and that was hilarious. And then this is kind of the end of the turn. I think I just took one screenshot of everything. He shot my necromancer to death, which was kind of a bummer, but moral victory, right? He did end up putting a point, or did he? No, he didn't put a point of damage on the werewolves. I was kind of rooting for him too, just like, come on, wizard, do it. You can do it. But then his halfling rangers and his halfling sergeant killed my trolls. Dang it. But yeah, he's doing what he can with what he's got left, man. So they did good. Top of turn 5, undead movement. I just moved over towards him, and then I got my trolls into combat with his rangers there that are wavered. My zombies moved over to threaten his last 2 units. My vampire lord moved over to threaten his last couple units. My wraiths moved over, my Lycanus, and then my revenant cavalry and my werewolves were just like, let's just take care of this wizard. So they did, and he's probably gonna die. Okay, here's the end of my turn 5. As you can see, the wizard did not survive. I would not think he would. The trolls killed that wavered unit of rangers and then kind of turned to face, and everybody else is just kind of looking at these poor halfling rangers saying, yeah, we're ready. We're going to take care of you. All right, so the bottom of turn 5, here is my buddy NobbyNobbs. He's charging my... He did a great thing where he dual charged my trolls with his halfling sergeants, and then the rest of them just kind of shot at my zombies. My zombies now have 16 damage on them, still nowhere near where they need to be routed, and everything else just kind of took some damage, or just the trolls did, and everything else just kind of hung out. And at this point, you're just kind of like, well, thanks for playing the game out, man. I went in and charged with my vampire dragon on his rangers there. My zombies charged one of his sergeants, and then my trolls charged the other one. Everything else was continually moving up, and this was just kind of mop-up phase. As you can see, here's the end of the turn, and I wavered one of his sergeants. I killed his other rangers, and then he's got that 1 unit left. So here's the bottom of the turn. He just shot at my Lycanus, trying to rout him. That was one thing I did, was I moved my Lycanus up. I was originally just gonna like run him backwards because I knew that he was already kind of close to being wavered or routed. But I was like, no, I'll just throw him up there, and if he shoots him, he deserves it, you know. At this point, I'm not worried about losing him because I've got the game won by quite a bit. And I was like, man, let's be a good sport here and give him something to shoot at. So here's the end of the game. As you can see, I still have most of my army left, and he has 1 unit of ranger cavalry and a sergeant left. I don't know if there's another... there's got to be a bunch of different ways that you can do the League of Rhordia. There's plenty. I looked in their list, and there's plenty of things in that book that you can take that look really fun to play. This was kind of a speedy cavalry list against my speedy undead list. I don't feel like I really had any problems, but who knows? There's definitely different ways to take each army, and I'm sure that I'll run up against another League of Rhordia list, maybe even against NobbyNobbs, where he just like kills me off the table. So this is the end of the bat rep, and I'm actually very happy with this game. It went really well. I do kind of feel bad for NobbyNobbs because he was a really great sport, and my army just got the rolls it needed. It got the maneuvers it needed to take care of business. So the undead have won the day again. I think in my next battle report I'm going to change up my army a little bit just to kind of get something different going on. So until then, thanks for watching, and I hope to play NobbyNobbs again. He was a really cool dude. Plus he's got an awesome name. I mean, NobbyNobbs, come on, that's funny. So plus he made me do a battle report where I said NobbyNobbs the whole time, and everybody can just laugh at that. Okay. So anyway, we will see you next time, and thanks for watching.